tried to count me out, I'ma go count me in. Fill up my bank account, now I got something to spend. They tried to count me out, I'ma go count me in. Fill up my bank account, now I got something to spend.
Every single day in your life, you're grabbing things. You're picking things up. I'm placing my Ear Pro on the barrel. I pick up my phone. I grab a water bottle. We do things with our hands every single day. So why is it when we start shooting that we stumble with the drawing of a pistol? And maybe some of you don't even realize that you're stumbling when you're drawing your pistol. I think back to when I first started shooting, and I very clearly remember that pretty much everything that was taught to me or everything that I thought I learned was overcomplicated. Everybody wanted to throw their own little spice into the ingredients mixture. And what would you say with a recipe that you just throw random crap in over and over? You might grab some salt, some pepper, some paprika, oregano, maybe some weird things. You just start throwing crap into this bowl. Is it gonna taste good? Did you get the right proportions? Did you even have the right ingredient to start with? And at the end of the day, shooting can often be just like that. We can overcomplicate things, and it actually hinders us as we go forward and we learn with our firearms. So today, we're talking about drawing our pistols, and I'm gonna clear out my Glock 19 here. Make sure there's no bullets in this bad boy. All right, so the Glock at this point is totally cleared out. This is safe. Still not gonna point it at the camera guy because he doesn't like that, but it is a clear gun. You guys don't have to worry about it and be internet ninjas in the comment section telling me to stop pointing guns places. But today, with the draw stroke, the objective that I want to lay out for you is that it's not very complicated. We have a couple different things that we're doing. We're obviously clearing a garment, which means we're lifting a shirt to get to our holster that has our gun. At that same moment, we're getting a good grip. That first moment that we start to draw our pistol is the first opportunity we have to nail that grip. And that is so critically important to shooting well that I think a lot of people overlook it. And they don't give enough credit to the fact that if you get the grip right the first time on the pistol and your hands can meet properly, the odds of you doing all the other fundamentals increase. And there's still a lot of other stuff going on with shooting a pistol well that we're not going to talk about today, like trigger and sights and all of that other stuff. But at the bare basic moment of drawing, you are meeting your pistol in its holster and drawing that pistol out. So back in the day, I always explained, I don't remember who told me, but there was like 7 steps to a draw. There's clearing your garment, there's meeting your pistol, there's drawing it, there's your hands rotating and meeting, and then there's pushing out and shooting. And I don't think that it has to be seen as that complicated. I agree, first step is clear garment, and we don't want to be like ripping our garments all the way up. When you see me draw and I'm training and I'm shooting these videos, my draw and my garment clearing is very little. It's very small. With some of these appendix rigs, a lot of people like to kind of grab between the mag and the red dot or the mag and the slide. There's an index spot there. You can just grab, lift, and go. I typically just feel the underside of my garment. I lift it up, draw, and shoot. And it doesn't matter if this is a sweatshirt, a t-shirt, an extra jacket. It just means that I might have to grab more garments in order to get them clear of my pistol. The other thing that we're doing in that moment that we're drawing our pistol is making sure we're not pointing it at other crap that we don't want to shoot. So we're not pointing it at our feet and then having our finger hit the trigger and squeeze a round off into our feet. So again, this is why drawing is so extremely vital to being safe and effective with your gun. But as soon as I draw my pistol and I lift my garment, my hands meet, I'm drawing and my muzzle's already going that way. Now, there's a lot of theories around drawing. There's a lot of other stuff going on. But at this point, unless you're planning on shooting one-handed, your hands have to meet. So in my draw stroke, I try to limit my movements between clearing the garment, my hand meeting the pistol, and then my hands meeting each other. I try to not be robotic like this. I'm gonna show you a robotic example here. Maybe at first that was good for me to learn, you know, to draw, to meet my hands, push out, see my sight picture, bang. But at the end of the day, when I'm drawing and I'm shooting, it's much more fluid. It's a very fluid example of drawing. And I'm not claiming to be the best. I'm definitely not the fastest at drawing and getting first round hits, but I do have a fairly efficient form. And I'm gonna talk about at the end of this video some things to look out for that are gonna help you notice if you're wasting time and wasting movement or doing anything unsafe. But again, I'm gonna do this kind of in slow motion, how I would draw my pistol. I'd grab my shirt, immediately my hands meeting my pistol, my hands are meeting together, I'm pushing out and I'm shooting. It is a very basic function, but when I reach down and I grab my pistol, I have a solid initial grip. My hand is as far up into the pistol as it possibly can be. I'm prepped and ready to receive my support hand right in that gap there. And from there, it's quite literally me just pushing out and getting on target. Now, some things to look out for as far as wasteful movement. If you notice that you're pulling your garment all the way up to your chin and you're punching yourself in the face, maybe you're wasting some movement. Now, I'm not gonna say that that's necessarily this horrible thing. I don't think there's always a black and white answer, but if you're trying to go for performance and you're trying to push your skill set, then at some point we have to have efficiency of movement, because what people think is, oh, I can just shoot and squeeze the trigger faster. But if you break down with a shot timer, these things are super important. You break down with a shot timer, just shooting faster versus efficiency of movement, you often will find that you'll pick up better times with efficient movement versus splits between your shots. There's only so much time you can make up between squeezing a trigger, but you can make up a ton of time with an efficient draw. So some things to look out for. I remember back in the day of 2016 Instagram, everybody was going for sub-second draws. And if you were on Instagram at that time, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So you would have people going out with the sole intention of blasting rounds downrange as fast as possible, oftentimes unsafe, and you would see all kinds of crazy stuff going on. And I would see guys like leaning. As soon as they're drawing, they're leaning, or when their gun is coming up into their eye line, their sight picture is being created between their optic or their iron sights and their eyes, they're ducking their head down, they're moving, they're doing all kinds of stuff. If you watch me shoot my pistol and we play it back in slow motion, when I'm drawing, stuff's just meeting. It's meeting my eye line. I'm not ducking, I'm not fishing, I'm not hunting, I'm not doing any weird stuff. That draw is prepping me for proper fundamentals going forward. And that's why it's the foundation of shooting our pistol outside of our holster. Now, is this the most important thing that you should be working on right now? I guess that depends on where you're at as a shooter. If you just bought your pistol and you're just learning how to shoot it and you want to get some rounds on paper and you are currently having issues even doing that, maybe adding the complexity of drawing isn't necessarily your next most important thing. But I would say that learning how to draw efficiently and effectively and safely is critically important. And the last thing that I want to point out that a lot of people do when they're first shooters, and you have to be extremely careful of it, is as we're clearing our holster, clearing our garment, do not ever let your finger get into the trigger guard as you are drawing your holster. The same can be said when we are reholstering. And one of my friends, Mick, I think it was Mick over at Carry Trainer, actually had taught in his classes, and I had never heard it before, but it does make perfect sense. And I've done it for years without even thinking about it. When I reholster, you'll often see that my thumb is wrapped over the top of my slide. And so what that means is if I would push down on the slide right here, you see how it moves on the pistol? So if I would be reholstering and I would feel that, or I would get snug up as I'm reholstering, my thumb is already right there. I can feel that little bump, and that just helps me to know, oh man, maybe I should pay a little bit of attention as I'm reholstering. The other phrase that's been thrown around is when we reholster our gun, it's not a race. And the reason people say that is if you're sloppy and you're just reckless as you're going back in your holster, that is a great opportunity to send a 9mm round into your femoral arteries or your other stuff that you don't want to shoot. We're not going to go there. But at the end of the day, it's dangerous. You have to be extremely careful. There's clothing, there's other stuff going on. When I'm filming and recording, I've got extra wires for microphones, and I've got to be extremely attentive to my pistol, both in my draw and my reholstering. And this is no joke, guys. Guns go bang, bullets leave barrels. So when we're drawing, reholstering, we want to focus in on those simple skills and spend enough time to where they're second nature, but we never take that for granted. We always take the extra step to make sure we're safe with our firearms. So guys, hopefully those couple steps with holstering and drawing your pistol are gonna help you out. Again, keep it simple. Get a good grip at the beginning. Make sure we're clearing our garment safely. As we draw out of the holster, make sure our muzzle isn't pointed at things like our feet or our hands. And you can practice that in dry fire. Dry fire just simply means we have an empty mag, empty gun. If you are a new shooter, highly recommend get rid of the mag, get rid of the ammo, make sure that gun's empty. Look in there. You can feel with your finger that there's no bullets in there. Rack that slide a couple extra times just because we want to be safe. Make sure she's empty. And now at this point, you could draw this pistol and there's no risk of you shooting yourself unless you would grab a mag with ammo, stick it in the mag well, rack it, you could shoot yourself. But dry fire is just having a dry gun, working those basics. You can do that and then make sure you're not pointing at things you don't want to shoot. A lot of people shoot themselves in the hands because as they're drawing or doing anything else like that, they muzzle their hand and then they squeeze a shot off because they don't have good trigger discipline. Then as I'm drawing out, getting a good grip, clearing the garment, my hands come together as quickly as possible. I try to not do this 90-degree thing. They meet and I push out on target. I've got a good sight picture, press the trigger, shoot the target. So guys, it's not super complicated. Let's keep it very simple. If this tip helped you, please consider subscribing to our channel. Check out our website, tatargets.com. And also check out Exodus Companies. If you like the hoodie that I'm rocking, we've got a lot of apparel over there that's gonna help you speak into culture. If it fits into your budget, if it's something that you like the designs, you like the message, maybe grab a shirt. You can go out, represent us, help us to continue to effect change in culture and ultimately impact our communities. See you in the next one.